Blockchain, is that just a word, or you can build a whole new world around it? My name is Bhuesh, and I'm going to take you to a new journey of blockchain today. What if I say blockchain is just not the idea which is introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008? This core idea has been in our generations for hundreds and thousands of years. Will you believe that? Stay tuned. Before we start this video, I would like to request you all just not to skip this video and watch it till the end, because covering blockchain it's a vast subject and it's going to take tremendous amount of time in order to understand it. So I decided not just to make a single video on it, I'm going to create a new series on it. I will be explaining everything that is under blockchain or whatever the questions you're going to ask me in future. So let's get started. For this episode, I'm going to divide a blockchain, a word, into three parts. Number one, the history keeping. We're going to call it ledger. Number two, the formation of blocks. Number three, the formation of chain. What if I say blockchain is directly connected to this word, genealogy? Even in the generation of high-speed internet and quantum computing, there's a process of keeping family records. In India, for an example, there is a process of keeping family record which has been going on for hundreds and thousands of years. In India, there is a historical place known as Haridwar where people go to meet their family priest to keep their family records. In case of any death in the family or new welcoming, mostly Hindus visit their family priest to Haridwar to register the new occurrence in their family ledger. Those ledgers are being maintained for thousands of years now. The most recent record is dated back to 1911. So why I am talking about a simple Hindu tradition in this video and how it is related to blockchain? It is related to blockchain. As I am coming to the part of history keeping or keeping ledger, which is the important part of blockchain, what if I say it has been followed in our civilization for hundreds and thousands of years? So what those priests do? They keep a record, they maintain the ledger of every occurrence in particular family. Family have to visit their priest and tell them about the occurrence. It might be a death or a new welcoming into the family. They maintain the ledger, they maintain the record in such a way that you cannot make any corrections to previous records. Just in case if you want to add any correction to previous record, you have to add a new page or a new record to the book. That new record will point to the family name, the new occurrence in the family, with the date and the timestamp. So it is being managed in such a way that you can actually date it back to the origin of that particular family. But just imagine, what if I take that ledger and distribute it over the internet and allow everybody around the world to add entries themselves? This is exactly same what is happening with blockchain. A blockchain is distributed ledger which is distributed among the people. Anybody who have access to the internet can access to that ledger, that record. Every blockchain has its own database. That database is managed autonomously by peer-to-peer network and distributed timestamping. And that database is authenticated by mass collaboration with self-interest. I just read that definition from Wikipedia. So that was the first part of every blockchain. Understand, every blockchain has a record keeping which points towards its origin, the present and near future. Now let's move towards the second part of blockchain that I mentioned earlier, the blocks. As per written record in modern science, the first cryptographically secured chain of blocks was first mentioned by Stuart Haber and W. Scott Stornetta in 1991. Though the first implementation of blockchain came into existence in 2008 by a group of people, I would rather call it an anonymous group of people or person known as Satoshi Nakamoto. When Satoshi Nakamoto introduced Bitcoin in its first original paper, he never mentioned the word blockchain. He used two different words, the block and the chain. So a block is nothing, just a batch of confirmed transactions or records that is occurring in blockchain. So let me take you back to that history keeping lesson that I was giving you about Hindus keeping their family records. In that case, suppose if my family just like to add a record in a block, if my family just like to add a record into the family book, we're just gonna call it a block, okay? In which we're gonna add my name, my family name, my family origin, and date and timestamp. Now modernize this. For an example, if any transaction or any record which is occurring in a blockchain, we want to add it to a block, we're going to combine it in a bunch, we're going to combine it in a batch, and we're going to add it to a block, we're going to push it to a block. And in order to secure that transaction, or in order to secure that record, in modern engineering, there is a new term which is introduced known as cryptography. I will discuss about cryptography in coming episodes of this series. For now, just try to understand that cryptography is just a secure process in order to keep those blocks secure and unchangeable. Also, there is one more term known as cryptographic hash that I will discuss in coming episodes. So that cryptographic hash is just the pointer that points to its previous page or its previous block. Now, if I summarize our discussion, coming from history keeping to the block generation, if we combine the whole thing, we can make a chain. We can make a chain of records that's known as blockchain. Now, there are many points that I will discuss in this series, like decentralization, or how blockchain is actually decentralizing this centralized world, or how we can utilize blockchain in order to overcome transaction keeping. We will discuss about how Bitcoin changed the world implementing blockchain and how it can be the future of modern transactions. We will discuss about types of blockchain, which is public, private, and consortium. We will understand science behind block generation and smart contracts and how we can utilize them in order to form decentralized applications, an application that can run a nuclear power plant or an application that can run your mobile phone. There's a lot which will be coming into this series. I request you all to subscribe this channel, like this video, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get instant notifications as soon as I share a new episode. And I request you all to mention your questions in comments below, and I will be answering them as soon as possible. For now, signing off.